Welcome, lads and lasses, to Dan Ventures Out. Today we're at Mount Annan and doing something a little bit different. We're checking out the Botanic Gardens here. We're going to look at the gardens themselves and look at some of the parks and paths around it as well. On top of that, we explore some lakes, bush tracks, and an important memorial too. Join me for this amazing adventure into southwest Sydney's hidden beauty. And just a quick reminder to like, comment and subscribe to Dan Ventures Out to see more from me. And without further ado, let's get to it. Our first stop for the day at one of the northernmost points of the botanical gardens here, the Woodland picnic area, which we'll see here in a moment. Got a walking track here, the Woodland walk. Got a good sheltered seating area here. There's a bubbler just over there as well. Push to start barbecues on this side. Not bad, not bad. There's a sign over here. I'm gonna have a quick look at that. There we go, Cumberland Plain Woodland. Walk the mighty forest and remember this once covered Sydney's west. Okay, let's go for a little short walk here. There is signage, but it is completely wrecked. Little metal wallaby over there. See how far we can actually go. Just through the gardens here, for most of it you are able to drive. You can see even perpendicular to me, we've got the road just up there. This is nice. Though slightly different to natural bushland that I envisioned. Thought there'd be a lot more bigger shrubbery. A lot of these trees to me look quite young. Although they're mighty tall. I could be wrong. Coming up on an information board here. From here you can see all three eucalyptus that make up the woodlands. I would say one there, one in the back. Must be these skinny ones as the other ones. Time to head back to the car and move on. Whilst just walking back, we've got a couple of roos just out there. There's two. Well, that's cool to see them out here. Wildlife too. I've just come back to the car, decided it's too hot and I need some sunscreen on. Not been 200 meters and there's another little walking track here. Ah, this is the memorial. Stolen Generations Memorial. Some information there about it too. Looks like the memorial is that way. We got a wallaby right next to that tree just there. I'm gonna try and sneak up on this wallaby over here. Actually look quite tame, don't you? Got a cool little, call it a pond, a swamp. On the way to the memorial, here we've got stones lining the paths, left and right, with little captions of people who were affected by this big problem that happened many years ago. Oh, just about to get to the memorial here. Just happen to notice there's a few gentlemen up in the tree looking like koalas up there. There we are. So here is the Stolen Generations Memorial. So basically the stolen generation were the children were taken from their families, forcibly removed by laws and government policies back in the mid-1800s all the way up to the 1970s. Apparently this spot was chosen by people of affected families as a place where we could remember people who had been affected by this tragic set of laws and stuff from our past. Very sad. It's also nice to take a moment to think about Australia's past a little bit here, and what I would consider a rather unfortunate mistake by the government and policies from back in the day. Just underneath this sign here, which we looked at earlier, this big mound of an ant's nest. Hey buddy, you're still here? Hello. Good on him, good on him. Let's move on to the next spot. There's plenty more to see. We just stopped at the Australian PlantBank. And it's saying here that pretty much a research facility that saves millions of seeds, and they're testing them in different environments basically to see how they adapt. Apparently there's tours. I have not signed up for one, so I don't think you're actually allowed in without the tour. We do have a boardwalk. Oops. Almost fell arse over. Aha. This goes back to the memorial that way. Nice little pond. Alright, well let's keep going. Didn't get 10 steps and I found a cicada shell just here. I'll leave you back there. Thanks, dude. Well, we're going to continue our way along Cunningham Drive, which is the road on the north side of the botanical gardens here. We're going to go slightly past the gardens and then do the rest of the loop, come back down to the actual botanical gardens and have a look there. Alright, we've had to skip one of the lookouts because it didn't have anywhere to park, but we're going to the second lookout here now. Not sure where the actual lookout is. Let me check it a bit more. The map's telling me literally like 10-15 meters from where I was standing is where the lookout is, so I guess it's more just you find a spot to look out. I think out this direction is Bradbury and St. Helens Park, to give you a bit of reference of what is out this kind of way. Looks like that was about it though. This direction we're looking back towards the botanical garden grounds here. Now, back to the car. We've got duckies here that I'm not trying to scare. Maybe I'll go down this way. Hey little quacker. All of that out there, Mount Annan Creek, which looks to have formed a bit of a lake to me. Got seating, and we have the barbecues. Nice. We're at the car park now at the Botanical Gardens, but I'm going to check out the visitor centre first. Oh, look at those well kept grounds over there. That's part of the Connections Garden, which we'll be going to shortly as well. Lots of the guys doing maintenance or have these ATVs, which is pretty cool. This looks like a visitor centre here. Like there's a lot of little things to sell in here. Christmas deck, that's cool. $21 though. Cool. Visitor guide and map. That could be useful. Everything is very expensive. Let's go to the Connections Garden. I don't know if that's a bee or a wasp. In the Connections Garden, there's supposed to be lots and lots of wild flowers, which I think all bloom at different times of year. A lot of them are named with little signs so that you know what it is Not that I know pretty much any of these types of plants. They are all new to me. Wow, wow. So many roads to go across, so many paths to take. I'm going to start with a simple one. This little pond. With a little waterfall over there. No fish in there, but I'd see some dragonflies going past. They're much too quick for me to capture though. Alright, so we're going to start with the rightmost path. We've got this path, that path as well. They're all kind of intertwined, but I think this will be the way to start. This looks like the forests section. Apparently this particular tree can produce a pine cone the size of a football and weighs up to 5 kilos. Wow. There's heaps of different pine trees planted in this section. Another split in the path. I'll keep going the same direction. Oh, I like this path. I'm going down this one that's made of bark. You know, it actually has a very piney smell now that I'm thinking about it too. Here we got a little pine cone looking fellow. Could almost mistake that for a little echidna, but no, it's pine cone. Ferns on the side. Wrong. It's a burrowang. Actually, I have heard of those before. I think they used to grow out when we used to go walking. Oh, we've got a little information here. Watch out for snakes. This little pond, waterfall. The pond goes under the walking track, down with the waterfall, into another set of ponds, which goes into another set, back down to where we started. Apparently this garden is designed to connect people with nature. Palm tree here, more over there. They really have a crazy mix of plants around here, you know? Now this part of it looks a little more familiar. We've got this type of tree, we see them everywhere. Forest oak and a maybush. They're ones that I have seen at least. Creeping pines along here. I'm not much of a planty person here, but rather majestic indeed. It's a beautiful lake down there. I'm going down there next. That is fantastic. Down that way. That's where I want to go. Man, I imagine there is so much ongoing maintenance to a park this size and this well kept. Like, can you even see the grass over here? It looks like a golf green. It's that well maintained. Oh my gosh, there's a huge goanna down there too. Look at him. Gotta run for that. That's cool. Whew. Came running down after it. That's a big boy. That's a bloody dragon, that. Whew. He's at least a meter long. Wow. He was big. But I've now seen a dragon. Ha ha ha. Coming out of the brush though. My gosh. Anyway, here's the park and the lake I was going to show you. Wow, we've seen some awesome wildlife so far. And some amazing plants too. From here, actually I think I need to go the other way. Keep my eye on the corner here because this is where the goanna went. The goanna went. I'm pretty sure we're safe because the ducks aren't running away. Oh no, he's over there. He's out there now. Kind of disturb the people having a picnic, I'd say. Just watch out for the big goanna, eh? Just in case. Don't know what he's doing. Anywho, cool. Here is the lakeside. Oh, beautiful place. And all around here there's majestic pathways you can take, go for an awesome walk, have a picnic, all of the above. It is really nice here. Haven't seen a single drop of rubbish as of yet either. Nothing. White bliss, fresco purple, bush pearl. I think that might be kangaroo paw. Although I've seen them a lot bigger when I've seen them. Unconfirmed, unconfirmed. Up to that. Australian Botanical Garden, Mount Annan. Alright, I think it's time to move on to the next garden here. We're going to move to the Woodland Garden. They also have a cafe here. And just check out the menu. Not for me, I don't think. So just near the cafe, there's also awesome play equipment. Just saw a sign about the visitor centre. Apparently you can buy plants there as well, if you wanted to make your own botanical garden at home. Here we go. I finally found a good map. So I've already looked at all of the things in the top side here. Right now we're here near the visitor centre. Gonna go check out the Woodland Centre over there, and then I'm gonna do the loop all the way around the bottom and check out all the things along there as well. That way to the Woodland Centre. I don't actually know what the Woodland Centre is yet, but we'll see if it's any good. Well, nothing much to see here. The Woodland Centre is a function hall. Could have set that online, save me some time. Just saw this sandstone block. Some bubbles inside. I wonder if they work. They do. That's pretty cool. We can now move on, I believe. I might sneak through here. 1 step, 2 steps. On to the next spot. Well, over here we have Lake Fitzpatrick. It's just opposite the other lake we were at before. The lawn over that way, the marquee lawn, and with that there was a pavilion just up there as well. We've got all this and all that. A lot of really cool walking tracks along here actually. I was just about to keep going and I saw some kids come past on electric scooters. I think they got the right idea. Electric scooter would be perfect for this park because there's little bits of elevation and they don't go too fast, just a nice 20-30 k's an hour. Really get to explore the park in style. Our next stop is the Sundial of human involvement. Still not quite sure what that is, but it is up a big hill. See you at the top. The buildings way down there are the visitor centre. And for reference, the park here is 4.2 kilometers squared. Here's information about the Sundial of human involvement. Basically, you can stand on the figure 8, and if you're tall enough, it will cast a shadow to the current time. Okay, I'll have to try it, I think. So here's the figure 8, and it has a lot of different dates on it. You find the date, which today is actually the 24th of Jan, so you stand here, put up your arm, and you can see that's between the 1 and the 2. Add 1 hour to that, 2:30. Actually pretty accurate. Be better if it was a little bit taller, but can't complain too much. I can still read it. So here we have a accurate sundial. You read the time from the edge of the shadow here, which is 1:30, and because we're in daylight savings, that time is correct. Now, not too far from the sundial here, down and up a arduous looking hill, we'll get to Mount Annan. Problem is, this steep set of hills, I don't love hills, but I want to see. Look at it behind me. Well, that's what the stairs look like. Oh boy. that for an anthill. I'm really hoping not to see any snakes or goannas out here, because after walking halfway up, I don't think I'd have the strength to run away. I don't think many people come this way at all. Look at that. Looks completely unwalked to me. I think we're getting somewhere now. The stairs have stopped. Yeah, alright, alright. So all the way along the horizon you should be able to see the blue mountains. Here we go, we've got the directions to different places. Sydney is back towards our track. Sydney should be... I don't think we'd actually be able to see it from here. We're about 50 k's away, but there is a small bit of town that direction. Well, apparently Mount Annan here was simply named after William Lowe, who named his land here, Mount Annan, after a homeland in Scotland. Alright, well, we've seen that. Time to head back to the car to check out the next spots. And as we're coming down here, I'll talk a little bit about it. So there are at least 10-15 different places of interest named on the maps, which you can come and visit here. I've only looked at about half of them so far, I believe. So on my way back from the lookout at Mount Annan itself, I'm going to cut across the field and get back to my car without going up a hill if I can. You know, even though this is still in the school holidays out here in Australia, it's surprisingly quiet. Obviously at the play centre there's a ridiculous amount of children and their families, but for most of the walks, for most of the paths, there is nobody around. Look at me out in this field. I'm the only one here. Oh, that's cool. Just walking through this field here, there's some cacti growing in the middle of it. Just like that. Back to the path. I just remembered there was one other spot I want to look at, but I'm now too far away. It's called the Wedding Knot. It's out there in the middle of the field that way, but sorry Wedding Knot. Maybe next time. Alright, next stop, the Bottlebrush Gardens. So like what this sign says here, the Bottlebrush Gardens, they're all about water conservation and maintaining your gardens efficiently so that they can grow in the harsher Australian environments. Well, I always say that a good way to judge services and facilities at a park is how their public toilets are, and these ones, very, very nice. So this is the main part of the Bottlebrush Garden here. I actually think I do see some bottlebrush sprouting. These ones here? Well, these could be some here. I'm going to sneak over. A different type of bottlebrush, cliff bottlebrush, but that is the type of, we'll call it a flower. That's what they look like. Looks like I'm on the wrong side. There's a flowering bush over there and there. Let's see if I can get out there. I'm going real slow because there could be a lorikeet. There's that green bird right in the middle there. Look at these. Very nice. I know the name of this bush, but I can't remember it. I'll have to put it on screen again. They also have another seating area here covered with barbecues and toilets. They have the covered bins as well. And on this side there are more seating, more barbecues. These ones are not covered, but with the amount that are, it doesn't really matter, does it? Again, I have to ask the question, how much maintenance goes into these gardens? That is crazy, but beautiful. So even in the middle of the car parking, we still have name plaques to help visitors identify the different plants there are in the gardens here. This was the Bottlebrush Garden. We're going to go on to the next Next stop, the Wattle Garden. Just going down to the Wattle Garden. A nice vine you can stand under. Also little seats. Apparently, there are 1,300 species of acacia in the world, 960 of which are native to Australia. And the Wattle Garden here has lots of acacias in and around it. Wattles mainly flower in winter and produce seeds in summer. In all technicality, wattles supposedly flower in August. It is January right now, so I'm not super confident I'll see some flowering wattle. But it'll be nice to. Looking super good. I'm not seeing any flowering ones. There's actually a memorial to the Howe family. Whoops. Sorry, William. Here's a bit of cool information. It's talking about how Aboriginals use the wattle trees. Seeds for food, pods for food, foliage for soap. They use the gum for glue, the wood for weapons. Wow, completely versatile. This tree. Oh, I see one. Here we go. That is a flowering wattle. They come with a yellow flower and is obviously quite brightly coloured in green and yellow. I was really hoping to find a specific type of wattle. The golden wattle is what I'm after. Well, I found the information I wanted to share. However, I'm not entirely sure if any of these trees are the golden wattle. Could be this one right next to me. Either way, the golden wattle is the national flower of Australia and is also represented in the green and gold of our Olympians. The wattle tree is also a symbol of resilience because it can survive fires, droughts and other harsh environments from within Australia. That's why it was chosen as our national flower, and is also on our national crest, which you can see here. See the flowers behind our national crest are wattle. There you go. I think this sign confirms what I was thinking, that acacia and wattles are very much related and often two names for the same type of plant. Now I did see one other wattle that was flowering quite brilliantly, so I'm going to sneak through and check it out. This wattle here, look at this one. Beautifully yellow with bright green leaves. I only wish I would have come out here during August when they're in full bloom. Imagine them all yellow like that. Awesome. So this is another park here at the Wattle Garden as well. Plenty of seats, shelter, huge playing fields. There's cover shelters ahead of me, but they're occupied, so I won't show them. We also have the barbecues as well. Over this way there's also more bathroom facilities here. Wow, look at this one. Called a needle wattle. Is it this? Or is the sign in the wrong place? I would have thought it'd look different. Cool nonetheless. On to the next spot. We're here at the Banksia Gardens now. We come across a Grevillea's garden, we'll call it. And actually has a bit of information here that's rather interesting. Sir Joseph Banks and Daniel Solander first made collections of Australian plants in the 1770s, and one of them later became known as a Grevillea, which is pretty cool. So the guys that landed all the way out at Kurnell happened upon some Grevilleas while they were out there. How crazy. That is what the Grevillea flower looks like. Actually reminds me of a bottle brush. Doesn't say what it is though. You can book the picnic table. in the Banksia garden. I imagine then probably other places as well along here. There's gardens all through here too. Found my first Banksia, and it is tiny, but it counts. Seeing if I can find one flowering. Although from what I was reading, Banksias and Grevilleas are rather similar. Same can be said about Waratahs. Here's a Grevillea flower up close. Nice. Well, I found the sign for the Waratah, but I don't know where it is. It must be this plant just behind here. But it's seen better days, this fella, unfortunately. A bit of information about the Waratah is that is the New South Wales flower emblem. So walking back to the car through the beautiful fields out here. Again, we've got barbecues. Again, we've got shelters. Bubbler with water. Bathrooms just up there too. Like, they have set up each one of these gardens to be its own little park, which is really cool. I mean, it is a big area. There are plenty of walking tracks all throughout the park here. And on top of that, you can drive to a lot of the locations and walk from each one, like what I've been doing today. In saying that, I have been walking quite a bit. Here we are. That's what they look like. I found one. The coastal Banksia is right here. You can see it by its light undersided leaves and bright green on the top. Different stages of flowering. And after a while, you'll get a little cone like this that almost looks like it has little faces on it. That's how we were taught to remember the Banksia. Of course I forgot, but I remembered now. Well, we've made it to the car park at the Botanical Gardens, and I've found a chair. So I'm gonna sit on them. Well, this table here, next to the car park, still really beautiful. I've got ferns behind me, got a little creek running through. Other plants I couldn't name because I am no plant expert, sorry to tell you all. That's really nice. I think this will be a perfect place to give you my review. So all in all today, I actually spent 4 hours out here exploring the Botanical Gardens. I haven't ever been here before, so there was a lot of learning as I was going, checking out things that you may miss in future, but I did explore most of the important places of interest. Very solid today, I have to say. Beautiful parklands, beautiful lakes, amazing plant life, even wildlife we've seen today. Absolutely exceptional. Probably one of the better trips I've had in terms of seeing so many amazing things. All the parklands they have here, as well as their facilities, such as the barbecues, the tables and chairs, all that kind of thing, bins facilities, on point, exceptionally clean, really well maintained, and realistically it's all free here as well. You can eat at the cafe if you like. I found it a little too pricey personally, but I mean, everywhere else is free, so you could understand dropping by for an ice cream or a cold drink after checking out the gardens. Surprisingly cool, especially if you're someone who doesn't care so much for plants. Would highly recommend, to be quite honest. Come check it out. It's only about 45 kilometers out from Sydney itself. Another cool thing, the amount of walking tracks firstly, and the amount of driving you're able to do here for people who can't walk as much, or people who are lazy. Hi, that's me. It makes it a much easier way to explore the gardens here, and if you want to walk them, go for it. It is far. I drove most of the time today, and it was just shy of 10 kilometers I've driven, plus the walking, maybe another 2 or 3 kilometers on top of that. So a decent walk if you're going to check them out on foot. Also a lot of elevation, which, you know, elevation makes walking very difficult in my opinion. A lot of the areas are wheelchair accessible as well, which is like just a bonus. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me on this adventure. If you like what you've seen here today, please like, comment and subscribe to Dan Ventures Out to see more from me, and I'll catch you guys the next time we venture out.